Coming up on 5 Minute News. Earth given 50-50 chance of meeting global warming target. Baby formula shortage in US becomes a crisis. And Impassioned Victory Day speech from Vladimir Putin falls flat. It's Tuesday, May 10. I'm Anthony Davis. Planet Earth is getting closer to the warming threshold international agreements are trying to prevent, with nearly a 50-50 chance that Earth will temporarily hit that temperature mark within the next 5 years, teams of meteorologists across the globe predicted. With human-made climate change continuing, there's a 48% chance that the globe will reach a yearly average of 1.5 degrees Celsius above pre-industrial levels of the late 1800s at least once between now and 2026, a bright red signal in climate change negotiations and science, a team of 11 different forecast centers predicted for the World Meteorological Organization late on Monday. The odds are inching up, along with the thermometer. Last year, the same forecasters put the odds at closer to 40%, and a decade ago, it was only 10%. The team, coordinated by the United Kingdom's Meteorological Office in their 5-year general outlook, said there is a 93% chance that the world will set a record for hottest year by the end of 2026. They also said there's a 93% chance that the 5 years from 2022 to 2026 will be the hottest on record. Forecasters also predict the devastating fire-prone mega-drought in the US Southwest will keep going. But even if the world hits that mark of 1.5 degrees above pre-industrial times, the globe has already warmed about 1.1 degrees since the late 1800s. That's not quite the same as the global threshold first set by international negotiators in the 2015 Paris Agreement. In 2018, a major United Nations science report predicted dramatic and dangerous effects on people and the world if warming exceeds 1.5 degrees. US pharmacies have restricted sales of baby formula in response to a worsening shortage of the infant's milk. The shortage is intensified after Abbott, which makes top brand Similac, shut a key factory and issued a recall in February after finding contamination. Pressure is building on the Biden administration to respond to the issue. Abbott, the main supplier of baby formula to many of the state government programs for low-income women and children, said it was working with regulators to get the plant reopened. It's been sending extra shipments from a plant in Ireland to try to address the problem, expecting shipments from the country to double this year. Abbott issued the recall of certain batches of powdered formula in February after reports that 4 babies who had been fed from cans from the factory became sick, including 2 who died. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention said they were investigating a possible link, but that testing so far had found the strain of bacteria detected at the factory did not match that found in the sickened babies. As of the 24th of April, the average out-of-stock rate across the country had jumped to 40%, up from just 30% a few weeks earlier and 11% in November. There were 26 states with out-of-stock rates higher than 40%, compared to just 7 states 3 weeks earlier. Overall, birth rates are falling, reaching the lowest point on record in the US in 2020. Studies have also found that consumption of infant formula has been declining in favor of breast milk. Vladimir Putin had no victories in Ukraine to proclaim on Victory Day, nor did his speech at the Red Square military parade offer any clear pictures of when a victory may come or how it would be achieved. Instead, the Russian president's address on Monday seemed to suggest that the war that many expected would be brief and decisive could be a long and brutal grind. Victory Day commemorates another campaign of grisly determination, the Red Army's offensive against Nazi forces that eventually brought Soviet troops to Berlin, ending the European theatre of World War II. The suffering was immense on the battlefield and among civilians. The Soviet Union lost 27 million people in the war. The pain of all the deaths combines with the defeat of odious opponents to give Victory Day a deep emotional resonance in Russia. Putin on Monday tried to portray the war in Ukraine as having the same high moral purpose as the fight against Adolf Hitler's forces. He repeated his frequent contention that Ukraine is in thrall to Nazism and that this war, too, is necessary to repel a malign aggressor, even though Ukraine had made no incursions into Russia and is led by a President Vladimir Zelensky who is Jewish and lost relatives in the Holocaust. The strategy appears aimed in part at diverting attention away from Russia's failure to overcome the smaller Ukrainian military. The most intense speculation was that Putin would use Victory Day to declare the fight in Ukraine was a full-fledged war, rather than a special military operation, as the Kremlin insists it to be called, and that this would prompt a general mobilization to bring in vast numbers of new soldiers, but neither was forthcoming. You can subscribe to 5-Minute News on YouTube with your preferred podcast app. Ask your smart speaker or enable 5-Minute News as your Amazon Alexa flash briefing skill. Subscribe, rate and review online at 5minute.news. 5-Minute News is an Evergreen podcast covering politics, inequality, health and climate, delivering independent, unbiased and essential world news daily.